Greetings. And I got my little African cloth back here. I know some of you are getting tired of it, but I'm going to change it. But we're here in Mombasa, Kenya, and I want to give you another good show here about which African country did you come from? Where your ancestors were stolen from which African country? There's a lot of people that are out there are trying to find their roots and find out where exactly their ancestors was snatched from or what country and things like this. And we want to discuss that today. I want to discuss that. Some of you are coming to trying to decide on which country should I go to in Africa. Some of you have even explored this DNA testing, and some of you even done the test and the test came back. If you can afford to, do another test, and you might be surprised that the next test says you came from somewhere else. Now, you're coming to Africa, and you're coming for the first time, and you're saying to yourself, well, which African country should I go to? And of course, now if you try to do a little investigation, you find out you fall into that trap because they know you're looking. You fall into that trap, like what is a good country to visit in Africa? And then they'll give you a list of crappy countries, and then you click them, and then it'll be like all these horror stories, and you think like, oh, this is not good for me. But it's the fact that if you search a certain thing, the Western propaganda is there, and they create links to guide you to their westernized version of Africa, and then you're going to get all of these horror stories that they're going to make you think twice or freeze. That's what I call it. I call it freeze. You think, okay, there's some good stuff and there's some good bad stuff. Let me just wait. I'm not sure. Let me just think about it. And there you go, down that slippery slope of you hesitate too long and you don't end up not coming at all, and then you're missing out on one of the biggest explosions in history. China grew to be a superpower in like four decades, and the night before they made 2 decades. They're now number one. You see, and Africa is following right behind them. So, in the last 19 years, Africa has went from a failed state to almost like a booming super economy. That free African trade is going to even accelerate this process. The African Free Trade Agreement is going to actually accelerate this process. But we're missing out on it because we have these hesitations, and some of us are trying to look a little bit, and then here's horror stories, and then you feel like, okay, it must be like that. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to take a chance. You have to take a chance anywhere you go. And there's thousands and thousands of blacks who are already taking the chance and who came to Africa. And you'll hear them writing in reports, thousands of reports telling you that, oh, it's a terrible place. No. See, and that's what counts. You can't go by the Western media. It'll lie to you. You see, I just showed a video here earlier. I had been holding that video for almost a month and talking about the job opportunities in Kenya. And there's somebody going around and telling people that in Kenya there's 50% unemployment. And I'm like, man, I'd be having to step over people going to work every day if it was 50% unemployment. People be laying on the roadside begging, waiting for a job. Oh, can I scratch your back for 50 bob? This kind of, nobody's doing that here. People are hustling. People are hustling here. You see, you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go outside, you see people going to work. It's no joking. People taking that money and making that money. The economy is growing. If you can't have 50% expansion, 100% expansion in 25 years, population doubles in 25 years in Kenya. And it's basically the same all throughout Africa because living is so good. People are having babies and they doubling the number in 25 years. So who wait up 25, wait up 100%? They got to go trust. Everything is growing fast. Inflation is a bit high, but that's natural when you're in an economy that's booming. That's a natural thing. Debt is up. Of course, that's because you're developing. You cannot develop without that. Who told you that you can't? So anyway, you're trying to wonder about what country you came from, and shit don't matter. You know what I mean? Nobody gonna stick you with a needle and pull out your blood and then look at your blood and say, "Oh, you from West Africa." You know, this is nonsense. You know, you pick an African country, you adapt an African country. Now on my side, in 1986, I had an encyclopedia. I went to the encyclopedia and I looked at Nigeria, and they said it was too crowded. It was, this was the most crowded city. I was like, okay, no. And there was South Africa. Then it was like, okay, no, because it was under apartheid at the time. And then there was Kenya, City in the Sun. Speaking the number one, the language is English. You know, it was like, man, who Kenya it is. I didn't know no Kenyans when I decided. I didn't know nothing about Kenya. I just sit in and say, okay, that's what I'm gonna pick. I ain't gonna spend like all day trying to analyze different African countries, because when I come, if I didn't like Kenya, I could leave. You know what I'm saying? Go to another country. So trying to pick a country because you think that your ancestors came there, like somebody was there filming, or somebody was keeping a record of your ancestors when he was getting snatched off the fucking land and thrown on a slave ship. You know, this thing is this nonsense. You can't tell, and then the people migrate all over the place. So you see, even your ancestors' parents could have moved from Ivory Coast to Namibia. Just because they were like traveling somewhere, trying to get away from the white man and all of that. And they might have traveled to the Congo, so then they had the whole new family. Let's say they moved to the Congo. They migrated to the Congo and said, "Okay, here's some good land, no white man. Let me stay here." You see, unless they run into Dr. Livingston. But then, so you see, it's like you have no connection, blood connection. You see, I'm talking about my people. What? That's just nonsense. People come here and talk about I'm from. My DNA showed me that I came from the Ruba tribe. Okay, goddamn. Now the Ruba tribe people from the 1700s is the same like the Rubas today. No, people is modern. Modern Africa is where you're supposed to come. That's why I always say modern Africa is where you're supposed to come, not rural Africa. You see what I'm saying? Now in modern Africa, everybody's mixed. There's no like tribal incidents. Strong tribal ties. You don't have people run around having parades and their grass skirts and stuff like that all over the place. You see, and I submit to you that the modern African nations today are pushing hard to get you to be away from your tribe and more like a Ghanaian or a Kenyan. Or a Nigerian, the tribal thing, they're trying to push that out the way, so it's not even a big issue. So you will come here and you'll be like trying to find your people, and then you want to try to learn their language, which is damn hard. You know what I mean? Better Swahili. I'm telling you, Swahili got all the books, you got apps on there to teach you Swahili, but now you start talking about Kikuyu and Lula languages. This is like, now, come on. You know what I mean? And then how do it help you? Because you're going to find Lulus and Kikuyus and other tribes that people in the modern city don't know their tribal language. Or, they at like the third grade level at it, at least they can say hi with the food, but that's it. Anybody interested in speaking, the people in the modern, people in the city that are not tribalistic are not interested in having a long dialogue in their tribal language. You know what I'm saying? I'm in computers now. What am I going to go and start talking in? I can't think of anything. I'm gonna talk in Maasai in a computer room. What's the Maasai word for desktop? What's the Maasai word for monitor? And what's the Maasai word for printer? You see what I'm saying? It's ridiculous. You see, that's where you need English. You know what I mean? Because you're gonna relate to things that far more advanced. So you're gonna use your cell phone, and it's gonna be in what? Now you can get your phone language in Swahili, but after that, you don't get you in no traditional language. How they gonna tell you? Download, in Aruba. What's that? You see? So, what's up? I gotta show the message. A Negro's worst nightmare. You heard that Negro's last name? Okay, that can be like that, brother. So, yeah. So having some sort of cultural tie, like on roots, is, in my opinion, a waste of time, because everything you do when you come is going to be transferred into the modern society, which they don't show enough of. They're quick to put you in some, some dirty village somewhere, dusty, dirty village. I won't say dirty, dusty village, no roads, mud huts. They'll show you that in Africa, but they won't show you the they won't show you let's call you back. They won't show you the cities. There was a video that showed like London. People were like, "Oh, that's London." People showed of Paris. People can see the outline of the city and say, "Oh, that's Paris." Then they started showing Lagos, Nairobi. They started showing Dar es Salaam, downtown city, and people couldn't believe that there was some African cities. You know what I'm saying? That's the high level of ignorance that we have, based on the fact that Western propaganda is inundating us with negative pictures and things like that. So you can't expect to be. People don't understand what. Don't call. You have to be able to realize the level of development that is out there. And we've gone far as development in modern Africa. And you must come to realize that it is not based on tribal lines. It's not based on a country. Because a lot of the slaves were brought into slavery during that time. They didn't even know that they belonged to the Belgians. They didn't even know, Germany and all these other countries carved out Africa. But the people on the ground didn't know that they was, being colonized. You know what I'm saying? So you still today got trade between the borders. People got family members in Uganda, and half of them is in Congo, and they even walk across the borders and nobody stops them. They got their own little walkways. They've been there for centuries, and nobody stops them. So you have to be able to understand this. When you come into modern Africa, you're coming about what's happening today. At least that's what my show is about. Now, if you got things, you got to be in the African village and all that. That's up to you. But I'm talking about when you land here, how you gonna survive? You see, are there jobs? Is there opportunity for you to make money? That's the key. And this is why I say don't go to Ghana, because Ghana is too small. And it's surrounded by French countries. They don't do any trade with each other. So the basic trade with Ghana is the U.S. The same people who, cooled their first president out of power. You see, you can read the story. And the CIA has been in Ghana ever since, because they're not going to let the French take over the Ghana. You know what I mean? They just say, we got to hold this part because it's the only area Western interests are gateway in is through Ghana. So this is a battle between white people or Western civilization guys, and so if they don't like your government, shit, they can make a coup and wipe it out, and there's no neighbors to help them. You can't do that in Kenya. You can't coup Kenya and not affect Uganda and Tanzania, Rwanda, South Sudan is going to get involved in it. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. Okay, I would say, Africa is the only choice for the black race, for blacks in America, because America is going down, and we've been getting the blunt of it, and we're not realizing that we don't even have cities anymore. We used to go to Detroit and go hang out all the time, but that was a black-owned city. But today it's gone, and we're not looking at it. We're just looking back like it's okay. They're gonna tell you that we're gonna be innovations is gonna come. That's gonna make it to most of the jobs that black people have will be irrelevant in 30 years, by 2050. So where you gonna go? All these black truck drivers, what are you gonna do when they go automate all the trucks? You're just gonna be, okay, let me see what I can. And then you end up sweeping floors. Because we used to run major corporations back in the day, but today all the major corporation jobs are all in China. So those black executive jobs are not there. And this is why they're saying that the idea of black middle class is erroneous. So this is why I'm trying to make guys see. And these white DNA companies are killing on blacks, putting advertisement of black people there to come find where you used to come from. They dip your blood in something and tell you from half Senegal. How the hell can they know that? Think about it. DNA what? So they stick some, because you got to compare DNA. So they went to Senegal, they stuck needles in a few Africans and said, okay, this is a trait. And then they got a list of these traits. And then they say, you from that trait. Now, you see? That don't tell you everything about the culture. That don't tell you everything. You see what I'm saying? And then it's not 100% accurate by far. And then the connection is like 300 years, 250 years old. So how? Anything, how you have a connection with somebody based on somebody's paper telling you from like Samuel Jackson. They're going to say he's from that country. Gabon, and I'm like, how the hell? You see? Somebody else will come give him a paper, you from Kenya. And then he'd be like, which one? Then you see it nullifies both of them. Motherfucker, just bring your ass to Africa and go find a modern city to go into. They got lots of clubs in Kenya. You can just go there and do stand-up or the movie industry is in Kenya also. The movie industry in Nigeria is big. Go there and make a Nigerian movie. What's the problem? Because they're putting blacks in the contract saying, don't you dare go to Nollywood or Nigeria to do a movie. You'll never work in the U.S. again. And so the big stars can't really take that chance. You see what I'm saying? And that's how they're blocking them. No, you belong to us. And if you go over there, but it's only a matter of time because blacks getting fed up. It's only a matter of time when somebody got a goddamn intelligent thought in their mind, like, look at America, then look at Africa, then look at America, then look at Africa, and say, shit, let me just try Africa, man. Forget it, and just make that jump. You know what I'm saying? Western media star Wesley Snipes moves to Africa, and does 3 movies. Damn. You know what I'm saying? Even if we need to, as a people, which I don't think we would ever be as a people united enough, but if there's an intelligent athlete or movie star out there listening, be the one. Just, because you can say, how much more money can you make in America? Maybe your career is going downhill. Make the jump. Let the newspapers say, black movie superstar Wesley Snipes has moved into Kenya. And he's saying that he's going to do a movie with 3-4 prominent Kenyan actors in next year. It'll be an action movie and a whodunit movie, and it'll come out in Kenyan theaters in April 2025 or 23. And being sponsored by Nagote and 2 other rich Kenyan businessmen. Boom. You see what I'm saying? You separate it. You don't need America. Ain't nobody gonna let you starve if you film in a movie and you coming from the U.S. and you coming to live in Kenya. They gonna break their neck to try to support you. So you basketball players out there. You know what I'm saying? You guys on your last leg. You got 1 more season or 2 more seasons to go, or you just finished your career and you still feel like you got a little life in you, come into Kenya. They're struggling to get basketball off the ground here, and it could be a big thing. You know what I mean? You can be part of the creation of a Kenyan basketball league. You know, it only take you a few $100,000 to start a good league, and you know, you'd be known. Me myself, I introduced martial arts here, and we created a sport karate league, and the league is in its 21st season. I'm known, and I'll give back, and I see hundreds of players, over 1,000 players, thousands of players over the years come in the league, have a great time in the league, go out the league, and then you know, it's not that difficult, but we gotta get our mindset right. You don't need to know what African country you come from. All you need to know is where is the money at now. Which African country got the money to support me? You know what I mean? When I come there, and there are several. You know, they're not that many, but there are several. You can get into the country, like, you know, some people might say, I'm going to go to Rwanda because I heard it was the cleanest city in Africa. It's the cleanest city in Africa because it's only like 3 blocks long. So don't waste your plane trip going there and thinking like you're going to see a metropolitan city. You're not going to see but 3-4 roads. That's it. And after Kigali, that's it. There ain't no other city in Rwanda. They're all towns, small towns. You see what I'm saying? So it's a very small country. You do your geographics before you pick a country. You must have a country that's big and a city that's old and it's got established grid and Wi-Fi and business districts. You know what I'm saying? Because otherwise, that's just like, you know, moving to Mojave Desert. You know, it's silly. You wouldn't move to Little Creek, Arizona, talking about let me find a job. You don't a job there, buddy. So it's no different if you go to Africa, you go to Los Angeles, you go to Nairobi. You see what I'm saying? So let that happen. Okay, brother Saint Joseph, brother, I work at Hartfield Jackson in Atlanta, and all Africans urge me to visit Africa, especially the eastern part. Definitely the eastern part. Now, you know, there's Dynas Amir. He's in Atlanta, and he's the one who that's really inspired me to start doing my own show. Dynas Amir. Search for Uhuru, and he has lots of shows, very interesting shows about you know, moving to Africa and dealing with Africa. In fact, he's in Africa right now. Shout out to that brother. And you know, he's always teasing me about my internet, but the fact of the matter is, in Kenya they got 3-4 internet service providers and fiber optic cable. So in fact, we're going to switch to fiber soon, hopefully at my house. But you come somewhere where the you know, where it's modern. And East Africa has got beautiful weather. It doesn't have any connections. Well, I say any. It doesn't have a lot of connections with Western Europe like it used to. People like Kenya, the president and the vice president was taken to The Hague, and they tried in Brussels and tried to be tried for murder or whatever they was trying to be tried for, and they beat those cases. And you know, the West was really mad because they were trying to get rid of them so they could get their guy right, I think, in the office. And to give you a short story, and I don't want to be into politics, but the United States backed this one African politician in Kenya, and that guy went to the U.S. and he did a tour, did some few lectures, and then he came back, and he came back with a new hat, and they were calling him Baba, Baba. See? Meanwhile, the president of Kenya went to China. Went to China and met the government officials in China. And when he came back with multi-billion-dollar contracts with the Chinese. You see? So, you know, the West obviously didn't like that. And, you know, they pretty much voiced their opinion about the Kenyan government moving over and starting to do development with China. Now, the Johnny Carson, which was one of the government officials, consular officials, was tell Kenyans that actions have consequences if they vote in Uhuru and Ruto in that election. And it was a sad thing to see. You know what I'm saying? That the West would make some sort of threat like that to an African country. But I mean, nobody's really bothered, because even the night before, when Obama came to Kenya, he came here and as president, the night before his Air Force One arrived in Nairobi, the Chinese sent a delegation to the State House, which is Africa's White House, met the president, and they just said, we're going to double our commitment to your country. Have a good day. And then they walked out. So it was like the Kenyan president was told that, we're going to go 60 billion shillings investment in Kenya now. So he was filling the pockets, you know what I'm saying? So when the American president came, instead of being like trying to kiss his butt, because he came with nothing. He said, let the gays go run around free in Kenya. That's what he came. That's what Obama came with. Let the gays go. And he was told and he was protested against, don't come to Kenya and start talking about gay rights in Kenya. And the president of the United States, Obama, just went and came and did it anyway. But you see, since the President Uhuru was there and had just got to talk to the Chinese the night before and had like $60 billion commitment, he was feeling it. He was like, hey, Obama brother, we don't do that day stuff here. He told him straight out. Now, if the Kenyan country was beholden to America, he'd have to sit there and shut up and be quiet. You see what I'm saying? Because he can't be scared to say something and then they withdraw all his money. But this is what's going on behind the scenes that black people don't really see. And here we are today. That was like, a few years ago, but here we are today. And, the Chinese got the high-speed railway finished in record time here. They're doing this. They're about to open up the second part of it. And from here, they're going to go from Mombasa all the way to the other end in Kisumu, Lake Victoria in Kenya. And you can be on a high-speed train. You can go there. You'll be there in less than a day. So if you can imagine this kind of thing that's going on in Kenya today, the areas that's going to open up. So many new towns are going to be developed, new roads are going to be developed. They're talking about the Mombasa Expressway. It's going to be like a giant freeway from Mombasa to Nairobi. It's coming. And they're going to boost the economy in Mombasa. Mombasa is Kenya's second largest city, and it has the number one port on the eastern side of Africa. And, Uganda, Rwanda, DRC, these countries all depend on the goods coming from their country because they're a landlocked country. Those goods come through the port of Mombasa. So this is the city where I'm staying, and I've been here for 15 years. I was previously in Nairobi, living in Nairobi, but I'm from California. I'm from LA, and I want to be near the beach, and it's a wonderful beach here. And so this is why I tell people, look, come to Kenya. Come to Kenya because there's so much opportunity, so much land, the people are great. People always say they were saying the Nigerians are the greatest, friendliest people. This is Africans in general. The problem is that not so much that the African is friendly, is that we are so used to unfriendliness in America that when somebody says hi and they generally mean hi, we take it like, oh, this place is people so friendly, But that's the normal way. That's the normal way people are supposed to be. You know what I mean? And when you come here and live here, you come to realize it's just normal. You know what I mean? You can stop a brother. Hey, what's going on, man? Can you help me do ABCD? No problem. You see? And somebody come to me in Kenya and say, "Can you excuse me? I don't know you. You don't know me. My car ran out of petrol. I need somebody to help me push my car. No problem. You see? I'm dead. You had to ask me. You know what I'm saying? Man, I didn't have nothing to eat today. That's only 30 bob. Here, take it, brother. Go get you some beans and chapati. It's okay, you know? Because that's the way life should be. You know what I mean? You be walking down the streets of New York and somebody be like, excuse me, hey, oh, you feel like you want to die. You don't turn around and go get shot or stabbed. You know what I mean? In LA, same thing. You be walking down the road and somebody cut across the street facing you, you'd be like, oh man, damn, I didn't update my wheel. You know, that's where we are today. Too much shock. You heard about that motorcycle that backfired in Times Square, and the people started running like for their lives because they thought it was another terrorist attack. You know, now that's where you want to raise your children. Surely, that's where you want to really raise your children. Really, huh? Think about it now. Some of you people got children out there, and you say like, it's really going to be difficult for me to put my kid out of school and take him to a strange country and go to school. Motherfucker, you crazy. It's better. The best thing you could do is send them into an African school. That's what I'm trying to tell you, right? We don't acknowledge human beings' presence in the U.S., and if you do, they get all suspicious. Exactly. Shit, I ain't been there in 20 years, but I damn sure know got the same problem. You know, I'm walking down the road. I need some assistance. You know, I'm walking in Kenya somewhere. I need some assistance, and I'd be like, oh shit, I can't really talk to somebody. Gonna think that I'm trying to get over on top. It sounds so stupid to myself. You know what I'm saying? So I thank God I got over that. I can just go up to anybody. Hey, brother, you know this and that and this. I got to get anytime I come back to the U.S. and can't be smiling. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? I remember when I first came to Kenya and I'm walking, you know, everywhere you go, there's people. People was everywhere. And so I was walking around and all of a sudden I turn the corner as I start walking. So this guy looks at me, I look at him, I go, what's up? You know how we do, you know, what's up? When you see another brother, what's up? You know. So I walk a little few further, I say, oh, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. I saw another one, what's up? You know, because you know, and then I was like, shit, everybody's black. What the hell am I doing going, what's up, everybody, you know? You know, so they was just passing me like it's no big deal. And I was realizing that shit, I'm in the land of blacks. So it's no reason for me to go, what's up anymore? Unless it's somebody I think I know. Now today, 20 years later, I'm an elder. I got my little frosty, you know, gray hairs coming out. And when you're walking in Africa, you don't recognize young people. Young people will respect you by not talking to you. They'll walk past you unless you got, you know, some sort of issue. But when you walk past somebody your age mate, you go, what's up? You know, he looks at you, you look at him, yeah, we making it. You made it to 60. Yeah, you too, bro. Keep it up, you know. Good luck, you know. And I love that. I know all of the basic guys that are my age, senior guys, you know, I know them. You know, I mean, I know them by name, and we talked, many of us, but not all of them. I don't know every like one of them, but I recognize them when I see them. They see me, you know, and in our community. So it's a wonderful feeling, you know. When I go to talk with my friends, they're now my age mates, a lot of them, some of them, and you know, it's a good feeling. You just sit back and enjoy each other's company. Something we really can't do in the U.S. anymore. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, people need to rethink. You know what I'm saying? You need to rethink. I did a show on Africa talking about the African out trumps Black Americans any day, and it's true. You know, you can't look at the life in the U.S. and say like it's better than the life in modern Africa. I didn't say rural Africa. I said modern Africa. You can't get what you get here there. Okay, so you know that you establish it, but you know you've been taught the Star Spangled Banner, and you know you've been taught to pledge allegiance to the flag, and you know, like you know, I'm a Raider, and you know you're a Redskin fan, and you know the Redskins is your team, so you can't never leave your Redskins, do it or die. You know, I gotta understand, but this shit, man, you talk about your family. You know, those sperms in your penis is gonna be wasted coming out in some chick's vagina in the U.S. They already know how to get money. In Kenya, should you say, should I go to the hospital or should I have it at home? You know, it's like that. So, you know, the reasons for coming we beyond that, really. And I don't want to go into like telling you all of the problems that you have in the United States, pointing them out to you, because you already know that. You're tired of hearing them, and I'm tired of telling you about those issues. So really what I really want to focus on is the ability to come back to come to the Kenya to see for yourself. Now we're going to be putting together a trip in April 2020 or May 2020. I haven't decided on an exact dates yet. I just want to check out some airline prices, and then we're going to establish that. And I'm not saying that we're going to all come in, and you ain't got to pay the money to me to come here. No. Keep your money to yourself, but we're going to have like a date. Everybody that's going to come. And I know there's going to be some people that really want to come, so they're going to start telling themselves, I'm coming. And they're going to think like that's going to make me come if I say I'm coming. No. What's going to make you come is when you go down. Nothing else going to make you come. Talking on the internet, talking, I'm coming. No. I ain't charging you no money to come. I'm just saying, if we're going to come, what you need is a goal, and your goal is May 2020, and you just be here. Whatever flight you get, if we get other people who decide they're going to come, that's the day we're going to come. And I'm choosing that day because my kids in the U.S. are saying they're going to come on that time. And I'm saying, like, okay, some other people are my friends, instructors and stuff like that, are saying, okay, we're gonna come also on May 20. Got a lot of time. To the people in our group here, May 2020, let's all come together. People that's gonna make the trip, want to see Africa, want to do business in Africa, want to explore Africa. And I'm not talking about the village. I'm not talking about going to see the big 5 animals. You know, I'm not talking about going to the slave dungeons. I'm talking about come here. Let's go visit some hospitals so you can see what hospitals look like, because they lied to you about the hospitals. Let's go to some schools, because they lied to you about some schools. Let's go to the business district so you can go see what they do, how people do business. Let's walk around in the goddamn supermarket. Let's see the food, see what's on the shelves, you know. Let's get some. I'm not talking about talking to the taxi cab driver. No, I'm talking about let's get some business prominent people here. Let's talk to them. I got some friends who are retired engineers, retired airplane pilots in every area. Let's make a meeting with them so they can sit down and say, okay, let's see what's happening, bro. Now at night, let's go to the club. You know, let's go hang out. Let's have a good time. But we need to have something where when you go back home and they say, what happened in Africa, you don't just talk about, I can't remember half of it because I was drunk most of the time. No. Make your trip make you money. Make your trip make you say, it's real or it's not real. I hope we can find some goddamn Chinese so we can sit down with them and say, are you trying to take over Africa? You know, let's see if we can get them. Let's see some white people there and say, let's see if they look like they, don't want to talk to you or they rude. No, white people here, they know their place. They quiet and they non-assuming. You see what I'm saying? They don't own shit here, and they ain't in no kind of power space, and they ain't gonna never be. I can tell you that there's a hidden code in Africa that like ain't no white person gonna come from another fucking white country and start controlling large areas of the economy. Too many black people that are here that got the same smarts, and today we know they ain't. What the white person got that we ain't got? You see what I'm saying? So that's a hidden thing. Ain't gonna be no stories about that, but I'm just saying you won't find that here. They're gonna keep to themselves and enjoy the weather. You know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna do. But other than that, they're talking about let me go out here and buy about 50,000 houses because I can afford it. Nothing like that. The government constitution has in place to say no one's gonna hold a monopoly on large parts of land or anything in Kenya. So that's out. Yeah, their time is up. And if they don't, they got large tracts of land they've been holding for a long time, but the government has said, now if you don't use the land, you lose the land. The same thing happened in Zimbabwe. Whites bought up all of this land, and then they don't want to give it up. They just want to leave it there like that. And then it's like, hell no. If you don't use it, you lose it. See? So this is a good thing, because a lot of big tracts of land open up, and people start building homes and, you know, apartments and estates, and then people start moving in, and, you know, because, you know, let's face it, the whites back in the 70s, 60s, 70s, and even into the 80s was having some of the best land. You know what I mean? So that's all stopping now. All right, Mr. Spacely, what's happening, brother? Welcome to our club. Our channel, and I hope the information is good to you. I'm going to be finishing up on the talk about you don't need to know no African country. This is modern Africa. You know what I'm saying? So why, if you're gonna move from Los Angeles to New York, do you need to have a fucking blood test to see what relatives you have in New York? You know, did you check your roots to go back to Atlanta if you from the South? You go, okay, I did a DNA test, and my relatives 100 years ago was living in Jacksonville, Mississippi. So you can go to Jacksonville, Mississippi, and say, well, hey, my brothers, I'm here, you know, we one love. It's nothing like that. Stop doing that in Africa. Go do your homework. It's either going to be basically Nigeria for some, Kenya. If you're good at foreign languages, Swahili, you're going to go to Jerusalem. Uganda is there, but it's small. But, the people are good, beautiful women there, very loving. They like foreigners so much. So you don't have to pick like that. Now, let's say you go pick Jerusalem, and you say you're going to hang with the Swahili language. And then you go there, and you're struggling with the language and the culture. And then you're like, well, damn, now I came in I picked Tanzania, and now I'm just having all these kind of problems with the language barrier is too much. What are you gonna do? You move. He said, "What's the problem? Boy, pack up your shit and go." Like my brother James did. He was in Tanzania, packed up his shit and moved to Kenya. Now he's like, I called him the other day. He's like, "Oh, what's up, man? Oh, I'm good." You see. So he lived right next to the mall. So he go in and get Kentucky Fried Chicken and Starbucks and all that stuff is there. So he could just, he good. Modern Africa. Why are you wasting your time trying to do something that's beyond silliness? Make it as easy as possible when you do the transition. And get your kids in school here. Have you been to Angola? Okay, Angola is big, man. And in fact, I was looking at Angola, but you see, now the problem with Angola is that they got that one oil deal. They're too heavily dependent on oil. So when the oil prices fluctuate, or if the war goes down and something happens to Saudi Arabia, then a lot of people are going to be hungry in Angola. That's another reason why I like Kenya, because when they had the 2008 financial crisis in the U.S., I didn't even know. I wasn't the person to read the newspaper. And, next thing you know, it was 2009, and people were telling me, man, people is having problems in the U.S., losing their houses. And I'm like, what you mean? He said, oh, you heard about the crisis? I'm like, wait, I heard something about a crisis, but I didn't think it was like, the biggest recession of all times. You know what I'm saying? Because I didn't feel it. No, nothing happened in Kenya. You see, because Kenya is diversified. It got tea, it got roses, the flowers that sell, it got all these big markets, oil, it even got oil now. They discovered oil, they pumping oil, and we got the only refinery in East Africa. So you see, they do a refinery. But the economy is very diversified, and that's another thing. You're going to go to a country where you ain't dependent, like Ghana. Ghana, man, shoot. If Saudi Arabia sneezes, then Ghana gonna catch a pneumonia. You see what I'm saying? And they almost did, because they thought oil prices was up. They did all these statistics. They had all these plans on how they're gonna raise the economy. And shit, that oil prices went down, and they had to restructure all that shit. You know what I'm saying? And when you go there today, you talk to the people, they're gonna tell you, "Oh, Ghana's okay." You see? And for sure, they're damn near having, they're damn near having protests in the streets because they're unhappy with the government, and and the same with Nigeria. Just got too many people. You know what I mean? Nigeria got too many people, and I don't mean to bash it. I'm just saying, for me, it got too many people. It's my personal opinion. Too many people, 500 different languages. So 500 different languages. Like you go, somebody hit your car, you have an accident, boom, you get out of the car. Man, what the fuck? What? Can't you watch where you're going? And you're like, what you talking about? Speak English. And you're like, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. Then people pretending like Africans, they second, they third, they fourth language, and you go talk to them, and they go, yeah, that's correct. I would like some spaghetti. I would like some orange soda. Do you have vegetables? Yes, we have. You see, then you go back and like he don't bring the vegetables. He don't know the word vegetable, but he's not gonna tell you. So you get all this kind of frustrations, and that causes a lot of problems. A lot of people in the country don't go to school. It's just backwards. You know what I'm saying? That's like backwards. Nigeria is a big country, a lot of people, but a lot of them is backwards. And that shit even get you killed because people just live whole families, they just criminals. You know what I'm saying? Even Africa, other African countries know when during special people, because if you get that section of them, man, don't get me wrong, the majority of them wonderful people, but they got them sections. They can't be monitored and controlled and policed, and they just grow up like criminals. And you got to get their act together, So in that fashion. So Angola is big like that, but all the things I hear about Angola is nice, but I like some place like DRC because DRC is 100% black, and Brazzaville is right across the Congo River from Kinshasa. And all they need is a bridge to connect them, and then you'd have the biggest economy in the world. And with the African free trade area involved, you can just drive across like it's another city, and it's going to be amazing. I'm looking for that. The Chinese have put in some bids to build the bridge across the Congo River. Wouldn't even be the biggest bridge, They're also building the largest power plant in Africa. And the Americans started funding it, and then the president of Congo was looking at the thing and was like, we couldn't get 500 megawatts. No, we want 1,000, make it 1,000 megawatts. So America was like, no, if you're going to make it 1,000, then we quit. Then they just dropped off and left the project like that. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have no reason. The reason was, the Africans said we don't want five. You said 500, but we realized that it could be 1,000, and we want 1,000 megawatts. And America had a plan. They were going to make a small power plant that was already over capacity, and so you couldn't build it and expand on it. You see, that was their whole plan. So it was like fuck over the Africans big time. But the Congo government said no. We wanted 1,000 megabytes. We want to give electricity all the way to Botswana. And Botswana was ready to fund the section of that thing, and America just dropped out. Read it in the paper. And they dropped out of that project just like that, just like no reason. And that's what America does. They give all these stories about how they made they were the ones that sponsor all. They big at talking about how they were the ones who created this program and we're gonna fund it for the next 5 years. When you hear America go in the next 5 years, America plans to put in $50 billion, you just know that's a fucking lie. They never do what they say. Never. These the Chinese came in. What did the Chinese say? We're not gonna do you like that. And they haven't. When they said that we're gonna build the high-speed railway in 2 years, they meant that shit. When they said the first train gonna take off on March 1st, 2016, they meant that shit. On the 1st of March, they was right there. Ready to go, train rolling. You see? Chinese don't play. And when you start talking about all the Chinese and too many in Africa, that's a propaganda. They run it in 45 different countries, including India, including the United States. They're not just exclusive in Africa. They all over the world. They doing shit in Turkey. They got stuff in Qatar. The Chinese is everywhere. They busy. They barely busy. Oh, so don't start talking about those people. That's what I'm saying. The ignorance and the propaganda. So when somebody come tell you, "Oh, I can't go to Kenya, too many Chinese. Oh, I can't go to Nigeria, too many Chinese. I can't go to such because Chinese is taking over that country. Some go Chinese everywhere." Just, that's propaganda. Don't believe it. In fact, when anytime somebody tell you something negative about a country, that's the country you should put on your list to investigate. Especially if you see a lot of people talking about don't go there. One of the best places going to be, I believe, it's a reach. I'm stretching it, but one of the best places to be is, I think it's going to be great, is South Sudan. When they get that shit straight, when they get the government issues straight, South Sudan going to be the best place, man. Because they already got a pipeline being put there. Kenya is already building another big port, bigger than the Mombasa port in Lamu, waiting for that oil to come out of South Sudan. So then they're right next to Ethiopia, and people know that Ethiopia is the largest, fastest growing economy in the world, booming. It's just going to be big and booming. They done separated themselves from Sudan with those Arabs, and then the Arabs kicked that guy out because when they separated South Sudan from Sudan, all the blacks moved into South Sudan, and then you just got the Arabs, and they ain't got nobody to wash their clothes and do all their things, and you can't slap the black people around in South Sudan anymore because they turn around and go back to South Sudan. But right now, the South Sudan is in turmoil, and when they get that turmoil straightened out, you're gonna see a big influx of Africans leaving Sudan, and Arabs are gonna be having to wash their own clothes. You're gonna see what that's really like, or they're gonna have to move to Cairo, one of the two. But that's what's going on in the real world in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Blacks is just taking their time moving, not even taking their time, they're moving quickly. And I see like in 10 years, it's going to be wonderful. My son is here working with me. Oh, he left. I'm teaching him everything I know about the business side. No go to college. Nothing like that. You don't need no goddamn college. All you need is somebody that know and some Google. And you just keep on working like that. And besides, Google and Apple have decided that they took away that qualification. You don't need to have a college. Newsflash. You don't need a college degree to apply for Google now. So if you got a good, strong background in computers, you can go down to Google. You don't need no they taking, because most of the smart people are not coming from college. You see, only thing you get from college is hangovers and debt. And you've been hearing more about that, I'm sure. And so I'm like, no, my kids are going to be self-educated by me. And that's how it's going to be. You know what I'm saying? And it's right, because I'm 60 years old. What job I got better to do than to teach my son and watch my son take care of me at the end of the day? And that's what family is all about. And I always tell you, family is everything. And if you go in America and you're trying to raise a fucking family and you black, you're a minority. You're a double minority. First of all, you be the only one on your block that got a mother and a father, and then all your neighbors is most of the neighbors is single parenting, and if they're not trying to get with you to break your marriage, they got all kind of rumors to try to make it seem that way. So, you know what I'm saying? What we have today with the black community, which is no longer there, is a direct cause of the breakdown in the family, which was in the 70s, and the communities, which is in the 80s, and now in the identity, which is in the 2000s. See? So I did a video earlier about having an identity crisis. It's exactly what I'm talking about. If you don't think you African, then you might as well stay in America. You must think like an African. You must say, I'm an African, I'm not an American. Then you see all the things not all of it, but most of the things that happen in America, you will now start to see. Just say I'm an African and then behave like an African. Or your idea, your concept of what an African is, you can't do that if you got self-hatred. You understand what I'm saying? You won't think like an African for more than a minute, because you done already been propagandized that Africans are no good and you should hate them. You see? But I'm telling you the opposite is true. You should love them. You should befriend them. and then you should get them to help you pick an African country and come. And that's my saying today. So to recap what I was talking about, you need to realize that not that you're African, but you're African. But I'm saying you don't blood test, and where you can, what African country you pick should not be dependent upon what your DNA says, because that don't have nothing to do with anything. You just be like a fool. You take a fucking DNA test and say you from Senegal, and you run up on Senegal at the airport like I'm home, and ain't nobody looking at you. You know what I mean? So you gonna go to some Senegal family because they say you from the Aruba tribe. You gonna go there? What they gonna do? Come out with a needle and stick it in you and check your blood? Oh yeah, he be there, Uncle Boo. Yeah, look at that right there. Oh yeah, you see, oh brother, you see, like that, like people, like Africans don't fuck each other over in their own families. You know, like they don't have problems. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no love like that. It's what you bring to the table. So if you're in America, the land of information, get a lot of information that you know it can be valuable for you when you come to Africa. Look at me. I had a wealth of information in computers. I just brought that information into Kenya, and I'd be like, shit, we can do networking, a direct network from one computer to the other. And they laughing. Kenyans be looking at me like, what? It's a what? I'm like, yeah, that's what that cable is for. You see that hole in the back of the computer? I put this cable here. Okay, I connect that cable there, and you see they can connect. You'll be looking at this. Oh, that's wonderful. Wow. You say, I'm like, shit, you guys didn't know that? You know, you see? So even new information is not there. So all I have to do is keep abreast of what's the new information, and then I got value. You know what I'm saying? So if you got something like you there and you feel like you like doing, let me think of something. Gosh, quick. Time is almost up. And let's say you, I can't think of it. I don't want to say something that's not good. Okay. Let's say you want to do ceramic tile. I don't know why I said ceramic tiles, but okay, you're in construction. And you got in America, they got this new building material for the walls, and you know how to put that in there. Okay? So, shit, you just get a supplier in China, because everything can be found in China. Then you get the technique that you done designed to make it, put it in. And then that little bit of information, you come to Kenya, and then somebody's building a house, and you go to them and you say, look, rather than spend all this money on this cement stuff here, you can use this. And they'd be like, oh, and you from America? You must know what you're talking about. I'll take it. Let me do this one room like that. Then you do the job, and they were like amazed. You see? And then, that guy has a party when his house is finished, and people come in and he's like, look at this room. Yeah, Black American did this for me. What? Oh, what's his number? You see? And boom, 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 boom. It's like that. You see? When I came to Kenya, I started doing martial arts. There was like passing the word around, and then I get a class. I got like 5 people. The next day, got 10 people. Next day, only 30 people can be on the floor at one time. You know? How many times I said that? Only 30 people can be on the floor at one time. The rest of you guys sit down. If you're not paid, get off the floor. You know what I'm saying? And then I train them, and the people sitting down there like, man, tomorrow I'm gonna be here at 5. I'm not even gonna be late. So I come to the class 30 minutes before class. I got people already grabbing me. Here's my money. I'm paying in advance. You see? Because the word travels. If you got a skill, it's great. If you a foreigner with a skill, you got everybody's attention. Now, if you're a Black American with the skills, everybody want to meet you because we're rare. They see us on TV, they see us in the movies, but they ain't ever met us. How many times people told me you look like Eddie Murphy when I came here? And you'll be like a small celebrity. Maybe, I don't know now because there's so many Blacks now here, but you'll definitely get it at one point or another. They're gonna ask you something. But if you got skills, if you don't have skills, if you get your skills set in America, for the next year or 2 years or 3 years. Get it sharp. And when you come here, you set because you're gonna already investigate markets for your shit in Africa, and the people gonna take it. Okay, so anyway, that's my show for today. It's been 1 hour, and thank you guys. And oh, where's my paper? The paper everybody wants to see. Yes, this one. What's wrong with you guys out there? Eh? Only 2 people send money, and then other people say I've sent, but they don't send. Why can't I get some love here, brothers? Come on. I want to be proud to say people appreciate what Amin is saying on the show. Okay, be the first one. WesternUnion.com. Look how much money I've saved you on DNA. Look at how much money I have saved you on DNA tests. You know, you don't need that shit to come to Africa. Just pick any country. Boom. So what's wrong with $5? We were just talking about that earlier in this show about how we don't trust each other and all that. And you want to get out of that mentality, okay, do the necessary. Run back the show again. When you see this on the screen, freeze the screen, write down the information, go to westernunion.com, and then you'll see where it says mobile wallet, then you click, then put the phone number, then it asks you to contact name. Evelyn Omandi is my wife. And so it's very simple. And we keep on moving like that. So I'm going to end now. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. I always forget to say that too. You know, I'm just new at this. You know, I'm just new at this, and I got a little passion. And I get to talking, and I forget about the modalities of this. You know, I talk in front of hundreds of people. I do seminars, you know, and I'm doing one on Friday. And I should be preparing for that too. And you know, I get to talking, and then I forget about the things that are needed, like, you know, support the show and subscribe to the show. So let's see some love there. Let us see that this channel has some sort of support. Because if we don't have support, then I feel like I'm talking to myself. Then you know what's going to happen. Whether I like it or not, or whether you like it or not, nobody's going to just you know, continue to talk if there's no audience. Maybe we need to go into the Facebook area where my most of my followers are. Always don't forget to go to Black Man's Guide to Moving to Modern Africa on Facebook and subscribe. I mean, like the group there. You get a lot of information that we talk about here. You get more in-depth information on those topics in the group on Facebook. So this is Grandmaster Amin Ra coming to you live from Mombasa, Kenya, where I spent 21 years here doing the groundwork on the ground for you guys to know exactly what it takes and what is really happening on the ground in modern Africa. So peace. Where?